It's the end of the road for the Jaguar XK Coupe convertible. After nearly 20 years in production, this model is going to stop being built later this year. But this isn't a Boyz II Men music video, and Jaguar isn't going to quietly sing this car into the night. Because if there's one thing the XKR-S isn't, is quiet. Under the hood, there's a 5-liter supercharged V8 that's similar to the one found in the XKR, but here is pumped up to make a little bit more power, 550 horsepower and 502 pound-feet of torque. It still makes do with a 6-speed automatic, and despite the power increase, apparently retains the same fuel economy ratings of 15 miles per gallon in the city and 22 on the highway, but in this car, who cares? To get your hands on one of these British bad boys will require a payment of $138,925 after destination charges, or just over $140K for a car equipped like the one here. This car is more than just a power increase and some fancy badges though. Jaguar has gone all out with the RS models. They've redesigned the entire front end, and it now has slimmer headlights, a smaller grille, and a whole new bumper that features twin air intakes just in front of the hood. But more importantly, Jaguar claims to have reduced lift by 26% compared to the normal XK. To achieve this, a large carbon front splitter has been added, along with a pair of massive vents on either side of the front bumper. The side sills have also been extended, and in the back there's a new rear diffuser and a massive wing that features a carbon fiber center inlay. The RS model receives these unique 16-way power adjustable seats, and they offer a good blend between comfort and sport, because as powerful and badass as this car may look, it is after all a Grand Tourer and not a sports car. One of the few options that was added to our car is the suede cloth around the steering wheel, and it does its best to make this giant old school wheel feel sporty, but it mostly fails. And while I'm on complaints, the buttons in the center console that control things like traction control and dynamic mode feel flimsy and cheap. And then there's the Infotainment Unit. I'll spare you another rant about how much I hate this old Jaguar Land Rover infotainment system, because there is a new one and this car is being discontinued. But in a $140,000 car, the graphics and interface are so simplistic and old school. But more importantly, there's no Bluetooth audio streaming in this car. Technically, this car is a 4-seater, but there's only an official 27.6 inches of rear legroom that completely disappears when you set the front seats for human passengers. The trunk can carry just over 7 cubic feet when the top is down, and will expand to 11 with the top up. So it's a good thing there's extra room behind you for storage, since no humans are going back there. All the drawbacks of the archaic interior are immediately forgotten as soon as you hit the start engine button. The V8 roars to life in this low-pitched burble that Jaguar has perfected in recent years. Rev the engine and it sounds like you should be sitting on the pole of the Daytona 500. Smash the gas on the open road and an angry V8 thunder emits from the back end to tell other motorists this is not your typical Jaguar. Even at a weight of nearly 4,100 pounds, this car can rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.2 seconds, all the way up to a top speed of 186 miles an hour. A lot of this is due to the 502 pound-feet of torque. There hasn't been once when I'm driving this car where I thought, you know what, I think it needs more power. Big power and big weight means this car needs big brakes. The front rotors measure 15 inches in diameter and the rears are almost as large. I'm impressed with the initial bite that these brakes provide, and find that overall they're well suited to the car. They're not sports car grabby, but they're reassuring enough for a Grand Tourer that may every once in a while want to be used for spirited driving. Even if this is a British muscle car, Jaguar wanted to make sure it could handle a corner. The stability control, traction control, and electronic differential have all been reprogrammed for the RS to allow drivers to approach the limits of the car a little bit more. What that means is it'll let the tail hang out a little bit in the corners, and the tires will slip more than in a regular XKR. And speaking of tires, the rear rubber on this car is slightly wider than in the regular XKR, and the steering knuckle has been redesigned to offer better stiffness when it comes to caster and camber. This all adds up to a better handling XK, but it doesn't respond quite as well as the smaller, sportier F-Type. That said, the XK still is more comfortable and easier to live with day in and day out. Even though this car is well beyond its best before date and has a few questionable quality issues, I'm going to miss this British brute. It has a certain charm that is lacking in nearly every other car on the road today. It's nice to see as a send-off that Jaguar created a legitimate special edition series with the RS models that include this convertible and the even more insane XKR-S GT. Rumor has it that in a few years there will be a new Jaguar Grand Touring model, and I hope they're true. And I also hope that that new model retains the XK's rebellious spirit.